There is a guy on Instagram who has read stuff from a PDF, right? And is basically summarizing in a manner which is palatable to you. A lot of people are creative. A lot of people think that they can write good ads, maybe, right? If a random college goer hosteler is writing, hey, you are an asshole.
Why are you the one who was calling them out?
So never take it to your head.
Shark Tank पे चले?
चलिए Shark Tank पे चलते हैं.
Gabbbar Singh के बारे में सुना है? A normal person who started tweeting 13 years ago has done over 2.5 lakh tweets, amassed more than 1 million followers. But very few people know about the man behind that handle Gabbbar Singh, Mr. Abhishek Asthana, an entrepreneur, an artist, a writer, and someone who has range of opinions about a range of topics. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this very special episode with Gabbbar Singh and Abhishek Asthana at Jar Xchange. Hi Abhishek.
Hi.
AKA Gabbbar, welcome to Jar Xchange.
Thank you.
First things first, who am I talking to?
You are talking to Abhishek Asthana, and who runs multiple setups. One of them is Gabbbar Singh.
And can I post different questions to Gabbbar and different questions to Abhishek?
Absolutely. They are like different ventures, different stuff. So of course they'll demand various other questions and answers here.
Do you think you're a split personality, Abhishek?
Everybody is, right?
On social media and...
Yeah. You can be a husband, you can be a worker, you can be a boss. When you're a boss, you're a different personality. With your school friends, you'll be a different personality. You will be a different person on one email, on another email, or on a WhatsApp group. There could be a college WhatsApp group and you will be some other person. Or there'll be a work group where you have your team there, you'll be a different person. So of course, everybody has that streak of being different people at the same time.
And then, who is real Abhishek then?
Abhishek Asthana is someone who was always an introvert guy. He was a middle-class person who thought education was a means to get better things for their parents or achieve better things in life. Basically, education was a means to get wealth, right? Because which was not there, a major portion of his life. So that was the idea. I mean, for us, it's very fashionable to follow your dreams, right? What's your dream? I remember when I was in 5th standard, someone asked me, what do you want to become when you grow up? Is it pilot? Because that was a cool thing to do that time. And when I was in my 10th standard, I was more rational. When someone asked me, what do you want to become? I said, software engineer.
But you're one of those few people who said, I want to become a software engineer.
Yeah, because, you know why? Because that was the time when I had my cousins who basically became a software engineer and moved abroad, right? And they were earning well. So for me, that lens was just that which profession where I can basically do well in life and basically bring my parents out of that economic strata 1, 2, 3 levels up. That was the only thing. Because my parents invested a lot in my education. They punched much above their weight to basically to send me to those places which they couldn't have afforded to. But when I was there was a responsibility kind of a thing that okay, I have to give back.
आपने बहुत बार बोला है कि that you are an introvert, right? और सबको पता है story of how Gabbbar started. It was a joke.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what did you want to do when you went on Twitter?
Okay.
करना क्या था Gabbbar Singh handle से?
Gabbbar Singh handle से no long-term plans. Like, I didn't know will it survive 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, right? It's been 13 years now. And I have no clue what the 14th year would be, right? I get various opportunities to Gabbbar Singh. Gabbbar Singh, what it did was basically magnified the various facets, various interests and hobbies I had as a kid. I used to write as a kid. I used to write Hindi poetry. I used to write stories. I wanted to act. I was in drama in school and stuff. And when I became Gabbbar Singh, it gave me access to all those lives or industries or sectors. I was offered to write a Bollywood movie dialogue.
That was when?
That was in like 13 or 14, I guess. Yeah. I was in Bombay that time. So when you're in Bombay, I had friends who were in the film industry. And because this handle gave me access to, let's say, industrialists, to Bollywood people, to lawyers, to journalists, to founders, to investors, to all kinds of people. So the thing was that you are known in these quarters So I have written episodes for late night shows as well. When I was, and I thought this could be my future. I would work 9 to 5 and then go for screenings in Bombay.
And this was post you started writing on?
This was after Gabbbar Singh, of course, after Gabbbar Singh. I realized that, okay, Gabbbar Singh will always be a sideshow. I cannot make this my mainstay because, see, a lot of our wisdom comes from our parents. We inherit a lot of wisdom from our parents. I say it often that your parents are your first influencers.
Aunga us pe bhi.
Yeah. They'll tell you that, okay, if you have money, what you invest, they'll say, okay, put real estate, get flats, get jameen, land and everything. And a lot of your initial decisions would be dictated by their wisdom, right? Times have changed, of course, and now there are real influencers out there. So you have a lot of wisdom from them. But yeah, for me, it gave me an access to different sectors, and I had to choose and decide which sector or what would I do, which would give me that financial stability first, right? And be at a comfortable position to then follow my dreams.
तो क्या ही एक introvert जो है, he was looking for validation as an extrovert on Twitter. I mean, I'm just talking about your personality. Because as an introvert, you always keep thinking कि यार जो बंदा बोल रहा है, that has more substance, and you've spoken about it. But was Abhishek looking for validation on Twitter at that time? I'm talking about 2013, the first few years.
So I could never speak on stage. I could never do that. I compensated for that fact by saying that, okay, maybe the guy who's on stage has good oratory skills, but might not have that substance, right? And that's a typical stand-up comic fallacy, right? And if you go on Twitter, and a lot of people who write jokes on Twitter, they'll always find the people who are stand-up comics unfunny. Correct. Right? They'll say, this is not that great a funny joke, why people are laughing at it. No, this is overrated guy. Right?
And if you put them on stage, the writers, they're not funny.
They're not funny. If they go there and they realize that it's very tough, because the moment you start speaking and the first 30, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, there's no response from the audience, you start melting inside, right? And that happens with anyone who's on stage, basically, right? You need to get that first applause, that first reaction from then you start going. That's the engine, basically.
जो कि podcast में होता नहीं.
So I realized there was no stage being on Twitter. I was anonymous anyway. I could be there. I could be that extrovert guy. I could realize my fantasy of being an extrovert person, right? And that is why on Twitter is a club of introvert people, by the way. Anyone who is really active on Twitter, you meet them in real life, you'll find them very docile, very kind of not that chatty. And there's a split personality that you see that they are very aggressive on Twitter. They'll have opinions on everything. But the moment you meet them in real life, you'll figure out this guy is like quiet. So that happens, yeah. And that's where that answers your question of that split personality. Twitter is being anonymous on Twitter gives you that leeway to be that person you are not in real life. Yeah.
आपने यहाँ पे बैंगलोर में लैंड करने तक you've tweeted 7-8 times. So do you handle your own Twitter?
I handle my own Twitter. Yeah, that is my way to express. What I want to do is never curate stuff.
Okay.
A lot of other people on influencers or whatever the content creators actively curate stuff. That okay, I'll put this one out. I won't put this one out, right? And they'll have. It's like a brand basically, right? How brands put out stuff on media. There'll be various checks, parameters. But for me, that has never been the case. I've always been like, I'll speak my mind.
So is this your personal diary?
Yes. I say all the time that Twitter is the most boring autobiography that you've written. Because every day you put out tweets, right? And they chronicle your life. I can figure out very well that on 15th September 2015, what I was doing.
Right? Here, एक बात बताओ आपको. You are running Ginger Monkey.
Yeah.
We'll come to that. You're running Hood, right? And I meet a lot of entrepreneurs. How is it that you keep tweeting so much? Because it's not about you handling your own account. And you said that there are no filters and measures. But एक mind share तो है. Mind share being on the phone. Mind share of thinking something. What you tweeted in the morning is something that I also relate to, right? The announcements of happening in the airplane. But doesn't that take a lot of your mind share?
No. This is a question I get a lot, right, on Twitter as well. That how do you manage time? See, for me, it's a gym.
24/7.
Yeah, it's a gym. It's a constant. It's like a when you open a blank document, right, Word document, and the cursor blinks, it's a challenge for you to put out there. How to fill that in the most creative manner possible. If the strategy that you're making, if it's a copy you're writing, if you're a script that you're writing, every time that cursor basically challenges you, right? And if you work towards it, right, if you constantly, it's like a CEO who is on the shop floor, working hard, figuring out stuff, right?
But you have 2 more shops.
I have 2 more shops, right? The point is that all those shops, I'll tell you, require this thinking. The point is, both the shops are consumer facing. I have to create stuff which is going to go to the consumers, and will they like it or don't like it? No matter how much time have you spent behind the doors, right? You would have taken 5 years, 6 years, 7, 8 years, or 1 month or 1 day to launch a feature on your product, right? But how a particular consumer will appreciate it or not appreciate it, it won't be a function of the effort that you put in, right? It will just be, do they like it or do they don't like it? Will they accept it if there is a market fit or not, right? If while working every day in that gym, I can do that fast, and it's great. And I myself as a person, very self-critical. All introverts are very self-critical, right? I always criticize myself that, okay, am I spending my time well or not, right? And then I realized that whenever I have tried to basically do less of that, less of tweeting and focusing on this other work, then I realized that my efficiency in other aspects have gone down. So the kind of work I do, I'll tell you, day-to-day work, what will be my day-to-day work? If suppose there's a client for that, there's a pitch to be made, right? And there's a particular brief that is there. That brief has to be translated into a strategy or a campaign line, or a script or a campaign idea, basically, right? So then again, that blank cursor comes to you. You have a brief. If you have a human insight, then you can put and translate that and do it very fast. But on Twitter, what I do is, if I look at my style of tweeting, is more of insight based than putting memes. So I'm not a memer. I'm someone who basically will observe stuff, observe human behavior, observe patterns, and put it out there, right? So that helps a lot when you are basically creating campaign ideas for brands and stuff. So there always be an insight. And sometimes the client figures out, okay, this was the consumer insight that you put in. And because Twitter trains me on that every day, it's very easy for me to crack briefs. Ultimately, you have to just write 1 page, right? 1 page, right? And for that, you take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 1 day, 1.5 hour, half an hour.
But the one who's looking at it doesn't know how much time has gone.
Exactly, right? So for me, it takes really less time to crack it. Same for Hood as well. So we have to launch a product feature. We were launching a retention feature that was their creator score and all that. It took me literally a phone call with my co-founder to crack that entire feature. After that call, we gave the brief to the designer. He gave us a UX flow, and we went live.
So what you're saying is, not only the network and client for Ginger Monkey and investors for Hood, Twitter is a feeder for you to run the other businesses from a thought process angle.
Absolutely.
आप सोचते हो कि reaction क्या होगा डालने से पहले? Tweet.
See, even after spending 13 years, sometimes I'm surprised if a particular tweet goes viral.
There's no recipe.
What Twitter has helped me a lot is basically bridging that divide between a tier 3 town to a metro person.
Okay.
So I could have the sensibilities of a tier 3 town person, right? It'll be conservative, strict mindset. नहीं ये होना चाहिए लाइफ में, ऐसा करना चाहिए, ये बाहर की चीज़ें हम नहीं मानते इनको. So while I spent all my time on Twitter, I could become that evolved person who has the thought process of someone who has stayed in the US for long, maybe more liberalized basically. Right? So I'll actively say, this is wrong, this is right. And that has come in my real life as well. With the 12, 13 years of time I spent here and interacted with really evolved people, really great people from around the world, a lot of osmosis has happened from them to me.
And vice versa.
Exactly. So that has been the good part.
कभी आपने सोचा why are people following you? क्या है मतलब relatability quotient है या फिर because it's a personal diary also at some sorts, right? So I have my own theories why I follow you, but why do you think that so many people are following you? मतलब लोग बहुत कोशिश करते हैं कि हम see in our team we try to qualify content in socialize education or entertainment. दो ही parameters. I think आपका अलग होगा, but it's basically come down to that. You're not educating people for sure, right? And you're not a main platform to entertain. Why are people following you?
I think it's a life diary, I guess. People are following my life, maybe. Right. So what I've found out recently is that it's my lens of life. People follow me for that lens. So like I
Observational
lens, maybe, yeah. I landed in Bangalore, then I'll have something to tweet about Bangalore. It could be different from other observations of Bangalore. So they are following, and what I've also done is actively not make it a impersonal medium. I make it a place where I update stuff. Okay, I bought this house. I came to Bangalore. Next week, I'm going to a college in Bhubaneswar. I had to go to IIT.
So it's a vlog in words.
Vlogging in text.
Yeah.
With observations and interesting insights. So that is there. And what I also realized that maybe humor is one. And also the thing is that I cover a lot of sectors or topics.
No, I get it. But if that one-liner takes you, say, a very small amount of time to write, but then there are responses. Do you read all of them?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
AMA you do?
AMA में करता हूँ. AMA में तो
15 मिनट तक रिप्लाई करते हो फिर गायब हो जाता है.
Yeah, I use it efficiently. It might give an impression that I'm there, but I'm not there.
There are a lot of travel influencers who travel to share. And then there are influencers who travel and share. Have you... I want to understand your thought process. You told me that you're observing things and writing. Do you also do things specifically to tweet on Twitter? Do you get my point?
I watch movies.
Specifically so that you can give a review.
I can give you. That I do. That I've started doing recently because what I also started noticing was, being a tech person as well, that I saw what my movie reviews were getting a lot of views. All the reviews were getting 1 million+ views. So I was like, good. For Twitter, it's good. Good number. So I think people love to see what I want to talk about in movie.
So what apart from movies? Do you do specific things in your day so that you can tweet? Not the other way.
Maybe. See, one more thing which Twitter has done is basically maybe push me for newer experiences. Right. Let's say I get an invite from some place, let's say coming here just for a podcast. I didn't schedule any meetings here. I'm not meeting an investor or anyone. I just told it this will be a blank slate. I'll come here, look around Bangalore, do this podcast with you and go back, right? Next week, I'm going to Bhubaneswar for XIMB and then I go to IIT Bhubaneswar as well for a talk. So that also I signed up for just to have that experience. I've never been to Bhubaneswar. Last month, I went to Manipal for TEDx. So there also I always heard about Manipal, that Manipal is a separate educational culture, city and everything. I'd never been to Manipal. So I like, dude, this is a good opportunity, go to Manipal. And
so there is a Twitter angle there is what
Twitter angle, see, Twitter is it's an outcome. For me, as a person, I want to. As a person, I'm a curious guy. Let's see what it is there. Twitter is just a chronicle where I record my observations. I went to Manipal, you would see a lot of tweets that I've done for Manipal. And if suppose someone can bring that out and see, Manipal mein ye hai. This is from the lens of Gabbbar Singh. That's what it is.
No, even I think that one is your range of topics, right? You call it verticals or genres, whatever. Second is that relatability factor. मुझे लगता है कि कोई भी आदमी जिसको follow करते हैं, उसका 70-80% चीज़ अगर मैं relate कर रहा हूँ, then it's fine, right? Now, your morning tweets is something I also observe. People who are reading also observed, but nobody said it in that way. अगर अभिषेक अस्थाना की लाइफ से गब्बर सिंह को निकाल दिया जाए, तो क्या होगा?
Then I'll go back to my businesses. See, that's the question I always get, actually. See, the thing is, while being on a platform which is third party, which is borrowed, right?
Correct.
Twitter is owned by Elon Musk.
Correct.
Kalko he says that, okay, India is not making sense for me. Let's shut down India Twitter. And this would have given me a jolt maybe 4 years ago, right? When I was in the phase of quitting my job and starting up, right? But I have always thought of a scenario B, where there's no Twitter. I realized till 19 I was working in a great job. It was not like compromise job either. It was like someone in a good B school, if you go, that is a dream job would someone I was handling DevRex. So after that, I started this company. And that was a period where there was thing I needed Gabbbar Singh. Because of course, it gives you network leverage and everything. And once it started going on its own, now 90% of the clients of Ninja Monkey don't know Gabbbar Singh.
Is it?
A lot of international clients, they don't give a fuck. Yeah, hoga, pata nahi. I have to tell them that, okay, I can tweet as well. Oh, what is this handle Gabbbar Singh? I said, okay, I can do two tweets for you as a complimentary. So, okay.
But it gave you a foot in the door to get your first few clients.
Yes. After that, they saw the work and the other clients came in. Okay, Ginger Monkey. They don't know Gabbbar Singh.
When did you realize that this is actually, iska ek worth hai?
Yeah, so I was in Bombay and I was at a movie screening. And Anurag Kashyap came from that side. Oh, tu Gabbbar Singh hai. I said, "Arey, it lagta nahi Gabbbar Singh." And he hugged me and everything. I said, "Dude." Okay. And that was my first maybe celeb exposure.
And that to Anurag Kashyap.
Anurag Kashyap might not have followed me, but then he noticed that there is some guy someone would have told them and all that.
For a job.
Neeraj Arora was the head of business that time. He used to follow. When I was in college, he used to send t-shirts if I tweeted over WhatsApp. And I would brag about it. Dekho, California IIT and there was. So when I came out of college, he was like, why can't you work with me and all that. So very Kunal Shah then came in and said, I'll work for free charge and all. So I realized that it had inroads in a lot of sectors. So that was the time where I like, this is something I'll continue, not like leave.
Have you reached a stage where you go out, not in your community, but otherwise where people are recognizing you?
Very few times.
Very few.
See, I don't have my DP. It's anonymous handle anyway. And
is it though? Now it's not anonymous.
No. See, impressions, right? Marketing impressions. If you see the face every day, right? Then it registers, right? But if the face comes, like this podcast will come out, right? And this will be like after a month of me showing my face in some place else. So it doesn't register that way. Still, I get stuff whenever my name comes out and I tweet out some image where my name is there. Someone will say, now I know who's Gabbbar Singh. So, as I always say, anonymity is permanent. Fame is temporary. For everyone. Eventually, people will lose you. People will forget about you. So, never take it to your head.
Do you get a lot of hate on your comments?
I do. See, it's by nature, Twitter is that platform.
But do you get affected by it?
I won't say I don't get affected at all. But I have started to filter out a lot of stuff.
But did you at some point, because it happened with me when I was writing something on Facebook against some media channel, बहुत गालियाँ पड़ी, and then I realized मैं तो नहीं हो सकता.
नहीं मतलब गालियाँ पड़. See, there is a weightage to गालियाँ as well. I don't know what is the weightage. If a random college goer hosteler is writing, hey, you are an asshole. I mean, who is that guy? But if a startup founder who's big and he writes something about you, कि क्या कर रहा है तो क्या है ये बकवास है, then it will affect you. Is the weightage basically. So how highly you treat someone or you highly look at a person, and if that person's words are not in line with what you think, then it will affect you. Otherwise, it won't affect you. So that is the level. And maybe when I was a college student, another college student's comments would have affected me. When I was a working professional, another working professional's tweet would have affected me. But since I have been moving on from various facets, it has started affecting me less and less, right? And now it's fine. And now I've also tweaked a bit as well in my styling. No matter how tweak you do, what tweaks you do, you'll get hit automatically. For this tweet itself, about Sudha Murthy tweet, someone told me ki, don't underestimate Narayan Murthy. What is this? You need to learn about Bangalore. What is this?
Yeah.
I said, fine, theek hai, chalega.
Are you very picky about brand promotions on your Twitter handle?
I do, and random brands come. See, for me, only one criteria is that if I have used that brand myself.
Okay.
I won't do it for a brand that is like Badshah Masale, something, some random thing. So that is the only criteria I have. Otherwise, I'll weave it in. I know it takes a lot of effort, right? Every other social platform, be it Twitter, Facebook, run on ad revenue, right? You won't bitch about Facebook because you saw an ad, right? And Facebook gives you content. Every day you go and scroll stuff and you got some time pass ho gaya. So Gabbbar Singh also, I mean, I put my time in it. I create stuff, right? And I have to support it with ads. Kal ko if suppose I had a team writing for me, I had people.
You don't do that.
If I had that, imagine. So I have to, I mean, pay for that as well. Yeah? So you have to, if suppose that team is not there, Gabbbar Singh won't be there because the team supports Gabbbar Singh. So Gabbbar Singh has to pay for their salaries. So, and a lot of YouTubers have their teams now, right?
Yeah.
So it's logical. We've
What part of your Twitter revenue is through brand promotions and through the monetization scheme of Twitter?
Okay. The ratio is 1:7.
And we know how much you earn through Twitter, so we can run with ads.
One is maybe Twitter and the other part. Of course, I mean, Twitter revenue is I've told it as well, it's peanuts. I mean, never quit your job basis of Twitter revenue. I have tweeted this often. I make it a point to disclose the earnings as well.
Yeah.
And it's not why I disclose because they are too much. Because it's too low, that's why I'm disclosing.
So are you tagging Elon or no?
No, that won't work. So he has multiple things on his plate. So the idea is that I make it a point to tweet because initially what happened was that they played a game as well. What they did was they accumulated the earnings of 6 months and put it at once. And that suddenly when people said, oh, I earned this much money, someone said, oh, this must be like 6 days, weeks worth or 1 month's worth. Nobody knew. And in that way, a lot of people joined in the blue tick wave. A lot of people bought blue ticks because they think, oh, itne paise mil rahe hain, badhiya hai. But then they realized that itne paise nahi hai. Then I told them, dude, $250 mil rahe hain sirf 15 din ke. Ye $500 mil rahe hain. And I am with an account of 1.5 million. I am earning this much. So आप लोग सोच लो कितना पैसा मिलेगा. तो आप ये मत सोचो कि Twitter revenue is gonna see you through.
That's the problem, no. 21-year-old kids right now want to make Twitter their main business.
Yeah, तो मैंने बोला, that's why I make it a point to put that earning out. कि देखो यार ये transparency है. And a lot of people I know who what they do is basically they'll lift earning ka screenshot for some place else and put it there as their own. Some guy with some 12,000 followers will saying that I'm getting like $5,000 Twitter earning. And that screenshot is someone else. And a lot of people say, करो यार इस बंदे को 12,000 follower पे इतने पैसे मिल रहे हैं, हमें मिल सकते हैं. Let's buy the blue tick and let's create stuff, content. These days suddenly I've seen a lot of people are reply guys in my mentions. They'll reply to every tweet I do just to get that reach.
Yeah. It's one of the strategies to comment on famous handles.
Yeah. So there are so many people who do that right now. And earlier it wasn't there. So I like, ठीक है.
What's the wackiest comment? Any memory where you said, यार ये क्या बोल दिया किसी ने?
Wackiest comment. Too many. I've done 246,000 tweets.
No, we did the math. If it is, I don't know how Twitter calculates that it's retweets plus comments or anything, but yeah, I'll have to figure it out. But if you divide 2.5 lakhs by 13 years, that's about 50 plus tweets per day for 13 years straight. Well, man, we have to give it to you for consistency.
Yeah. Every day I wake up, I don't recall a day I haven't tweeted. I have been on it. And it's become, so gotten married and have a kid as well. So they now realize, ठीक है, ये है. The fourth member in the family.
Abhishek, Finfluencers से क्या दिक्कत है भाई आपको?
Finfluencers से क्या दिक्कत है? Finfluencers से कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. See, as long as I always say, basically, Finfluencers, they have a role, of course, to educate people. See, this financial world altogether has been always, people have been misled on a lot of accounts, right? They've had ULIP schemes, which were basically insurance / investment. And people would have, I know my father basically, he put a policy in my name.
मेरी भी चल रही है अभी
21 years तक पैसे डाले उसमें जाके, and at maturity you'll get 3 lakh rupees, imagine. So that is the kind of, he would have parted with a lot of money of his monthly salary, and he would have given up on some pleasures they would have got for those long years. And now the outcome is such a small amount of money that it won't solve anything. So they have been misled into that. And of course, there is a need for education of right things to do to people. But what happens is that with Finfluencers, of course, they would have educated you, all right things, theek hai. But then there's a point that comes where they go overboard and they'll promote stuff which is of course toxic, promote stuff which is not great investment for their followers.
Says who? Says Gabbbar.
Says Gabbbar, and not just me, they have been named by RBI, SEBI as well in promoting some stuff. It's on record, by the way. There's a wallet that was there. They promoted it, and it came out to be fraud or whatever. It came down and everything. People lost money and all, and these guys put out an apology, and that's about it. And then went on to do such stuff again. A lot of their advice sometimes is colored by their sponsors.
Correct.
Right. And the issue is here that the people who are regulated by SEBI, right, they operate in very strict kind of a compliance atmosphere. But these guys can just say ki this is not financial advice as a disclaimer and give 5-minute long financial advice, right? So that is where there is no level playing field.
Why are you the one who is calling them out? Is this your moral responsibility? Why are you the moral police here? और अगर वो expert नहीं है, तो don't mind. But why is Gabbbar the expert?
My point is, see,
and Gabbbar को दिक्कत है कि अभिषेक को दिक्कत है?
नहीं, देखो, मेरे को ये है कि it's who I am basically on Twitter, right? If suppose I see a bad movie, I'll say it's a bad movie. If I consume an Instagram reel and it's a bad reel, I'll say it's a bad reel, right? If I watch a cricket match and the player is not playing well, I'll say this player doesn't play well. So a lot of that honest criticism is also something which people look for in Gabbbar, right? If everybody is talking decorative stuff, that okay, we went there, it was interesting. Interesting is the word they camouflage a lot of bad things, right? But I'll say it's bad, right? So that honesty maybe people like, right? And when I look at these guys, and there's no set process as such. There was one guy who came up, Shatur or someone basically, was putting out stuff that renting and buying and all that. Don't buy a house, rent it and everything. I said, this is not complete advice. This is some hypothesis that you have. They'll be true for some people, but not true for the people.
It's not personalized advice.
Don't shame others basically when they are following some advice or doing something, right?
Calling out people with much lesser following than Gabbbar's handle is basically also leading to the discovery of the same influencers. Because वो वाली advice गलत होगी, but people are discovering the same guy and they might relate to some other advice. But somewhere I think it can be counterproductive because उसकी discovery आपके handle से हो रही है.
नहीं तो but not like that actually. If you look at the people I've called out, these are the guys who are really big on Instagram. They have much larger following than mine. I mean, if they walk on the street, if there are higher chances of people recognizing them than me, right? And these guys are shooting stars. I've been here 13 years. I've been like moderately famous, right? And these guys have been like, they're in movies. And still, the platforms are different. The platform there on YouTube and Instagram has a much larger reach than Twitter. Twitter is minuscule, right? So they are still reaching out to a lot many people, which I can say ki nahi, mat karo. And it happened as well. So fortunately, being on Twitter, a lot of these ministers also follow me. Right? So Nirmala Sitharaman, basically their office follows me and all that. I put out such tweets stuff, ki ye kya ho raha hai and all that. SEBI, Sitharaman made a statement that okay, SEBI will look into it. And since that statement, a lot more regulation has come into it. And I can see if suppose I might not be the one who actually made it happen, but I contributed in a manner which basically led to better regulation for influencers, and it would help the investing community at large. So whatever I did basically might have pinched a few individuals, but to a larger community, it was a net positive.
आपका invest करते हो भाई?
मैं कहाँ invest करता हूँ?
This is not financial advice.
नहीं यार, I'm a lousy investor. Again, instead of I have a very straight answer for this. I am a person who is an expert in increasing my top line.
Okay.
How to manage the bottom line, right, is not what I'm an expert at. If you tell me कि चलो आप मेरा 1 लाख रुपए का सेविंग है, अभिषेक आप मुझे बताओ कि इस 1 लाख के सेविंग को मैं 10 लाख कैसे करूँ, I am not that guy. If you tell me कि Abhishek, I am running a business, my sales is 1 lakh, right? Can you help me increase this sales to 5 lakhs? By maybe, that's the business I'm in, advertising, right? Basically, marketing is an investment you make for better returns, right? So I can help you with that. So that's what I'm doing with my personal life as well.
Any Twitter account you follow for advice?
Advice? No, yaar.
Shark Tank पे चले? Top line बढ़ाने? Yaar, continuing from the Twitter thing, okay, I was following you when it was on Shark Tank. Anyway, बताओ हुआ क्या था? You said that it was like a lot of people want to know that do they have the scripts or the pitches early? आपके जाने से पहले उनके पास होता है कि नहीं होता? Do they have the numbers before you go and pitch? Or is it just a very impromptu?
I'll tell you the entire story of Shark Tank. Shark Tank happens like it's a reality show. Right. What happened was, I don't know who pitched our name there. Suddenly we got an
Yeah, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? CEO,
I'll tell you, there are a lot of investors out there who are advising Shark Tank.
Get.
हो सकता है one of our investors would have pitched our name. Right. We got an email from setindia.com. And it was in Comic Sans font, by the way. So I was initially very skeptic. Then I told my co-founder, can you just check the spelling of the name? Set India. It is like, कुछ गड़बड़ है क्या? LINDA कुछ लिख दिया होगा. तो नहीं नाम सही है. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है. तो this is like first round. कि they had a form to fill. Form fill करो and all that. And next round होगा फिर. We filled the form, forgot about it. Next round हुआ. Next round they called us to Dwarka में कोई hotel था. And we went there and we found all kinds of people there. We were the outliers there because we were the people who would go for a fundraising.
Correct.
And we had people who made handicrafts, achar, kuch. They had it looked like a reality show audience.
बड़ा पैसे उठाने नहीं गए थे ना?
हाँ नहीं पैसे नहीं गए थे. तो ये तो फर्स्ट पार्ट था. फिर उसके बाद हमको शार्क टैंक में बुलाया. शार्क टैंक में बुलाया तो अगेन इन ईमेल आया. तो तब तक मुझे लग रहा था कि इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा यहाँ पे. अच्छा ठीक है. Then the email came. It was written that we'll reimburse your third AC fare. Then I realized it's a reality show. It's like there's the same team which does Dance India Dance or the Indian Idol and Shark Tank. So basically, they know that any contestant is basically a prop, right? And they have to extract juice out of that prop. So the whole idea was that for you are the product. A contestant is the product, right? You go on Shark Tank, there are only two emotions to highlight. One is if your rags to riches story, they'll write, oh, cry and all, we give money and all that. That works really well on reality TV. Another option is where they mock you. First to show that these guys are cocky people and then we'll bash them. Look at these are IIT Bombay people and they have come from this funding. Now our sharks who are son of the soil people who know the ground level reality will screw these guys and people will derive pleasure in that. So that's the kind of two emotions that they go for.
यहाँ के गब्बर हम है.
हाँ, यहाँ के गब्बर हम है. तो हम बताएंगे, अच्छा तुम गब्बर सिंह हो, आओ तुम क्या है. And so went for the show. They made us rehearse for 5 days basically. There's a 5-day window. And once you go in there, you realize it's a reality show.
5 दिन rehearsal है.
3 दिन rehearsal, 2 दिन shooting का होता है. तो 3 दिन you'll be treated like cattle. तो आपको बैठा देंगे नीलकमल चेयर में बाहर बैठे रहो. आपको नंबर आएगा तो यू आर ए फाउंडर, यू से अरे मेरा तो ऑफिस है बड़ा ये सब कुछ है, बट दिल जा वहीं बैठ जाओ, चलो नीलकमल चेयर.
रियलिटी शो का रियलिटी चेक हो रहा है.
हाँ, आपका नंबर आएगा, कोई एक अंदर कोई बॉस लेडी बैठी है, वो आपका पिच सुनेगी. लेकिन नहीं ये अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, हटाओ उसको, ऐसे. दे आर लाइक वेरी वेरी ब्रूटल दैट वे.
So they also fine tune your pitch.
हाँ, तो they have this thing that okay, you would have pitched to investors, like VCs and all, which are like urban people and everything, but your pitch has to be in Hindi, which should make sense to a guy in Patta or Jhansi.
Makes sense.
So which we realized, हाँ ठीक बात है. तो फिर we did it in Hindi and everything, and we went there. But we realized we were in the other cohort, which was basically अच्छा हीरो बन के तुम्हें लेंगे. If you see last year as well, all the VC backed startups were bashed a lot.
Correct.
अश्लील के ऊपर वाले का अच्छा तुम वहाँ से फंडिंग लेके आए हो, चलो बताते हैं तुम्हारी क्या औकात है.
But is that what was on camera? Is that how it was, the conversation? Because it's a longer conversation.
हाँ, तो again I'll tell you, it's a 1.5 hour long pitch.
Okay.
And to your first question, do they know numbers and how are they able to commit an amount and all that? That is for TV, right? See, what will happen is that you go in, they won't have any inkling about your numbers and all. They listen to your pitch. That part is non-scripted, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that they have a script and you have to reply it this way and all that.
Not script, but do they have your financials and everything to make
nothing like that.
So that's the first time that they're seeing it.
So the Shark Tank team will look at your financials and all, but I don't know how competent they are that time. They'll it's not audit. They'll believe what you say, basically, right? And then we went there and they started asking questions. And the thing is also now that these sharks basically would have done one startup, right? And they would be understanding of one particular sector. But how can you find a car insurance guy know about social media?
But that's how it is with angels and investors.
Angels, do you think angels actually evaluate status? Angels will give you funding on WhatsApp. Okay, we will ask you who all has invested. If there's a VC or angel, most angel investors are people who will catch a running train. If you get what I say, right? It's basically, if suppose
And invest on the driver.
if already people have invested in it, they'll say okay, if 3-4 लोगों, we have literally had calls with angels, किसने लगाया, अच्छा इसने लगाया, ठीक है मैं भी लगा ले. One investor, I mean, I won't name that person, but big.
But can Gabbbar name it?
Gabbbar, no, because I said not. Good part is not my sole thing, right? So that guy put $75,000 on LinkedIn. Just ask कितने लोगों ने लगाया. We send them list. अच्छा ठीक है, take my 75.
Good. Back to Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, basically, as I said, these sharks are not experts at whatever. They ask some random questions, pretty stupid questions by the way. Like, oh, dude, what is this? One guy asked, what is the virality coefficient of app? I said, one virality coefficient. Virality coefficient. I've never heard this term. No investors ever asked me this. It's usually DAU, MAU, and basically time spent on the app. I said, what is this? So, and I was in pressure that time because my thing was, my whole sole purpose was to somehow take this pitch on TV. Because not all pitches make it to TV. Going to TV was a straight line equation of 5 crores of media.
So it's the best ROI for you.
I was like, dude, somehow I have to make it interesting enough to be on TV. We did some random thing of so that we knew that this will make good promos, so we'll do that, right? So that they will never cut you out. So we did all that, and in the end, Anupam Mittal, basically, he was the one who bashed us. But because you know what happened, we had met him earlier itself for angel investment, and I didn't know that he was on Shark Tank and on Aane Wala Hai. And he, in that Zoom call we had, he was like a shark. He was like, "Chua, तुम ये किया, तुम इतने ही तेज हो तो IIT क्यों नहीं गए?" All that he said. So I was a bit pissed off. I was like, क्या handle है तुम्हारा? Gabbbar Singha, क्या है ये? क्या spelling है? I cut the call.
And then you saw him at Shark Tank.
And he remembered that.
Okay.
He said, अपनी बात हुई है ना? हाँ. I don't know if they showed it on TV or not, but he said, अपनी बात हुई है ना? हाँ, हुई है. So then on Shark Tank he was like, अच्छा. He said, anonymity is dead. ये कुछ नहीं हो सकता. मैंने भी किया. तुमने क्या किया है? कौन सा बनाया है? Social media app. So and we had to take it. We had to take it. A lot of times I was like, dude, I'll bash them. I said, नहीं, bash करेंगे तो हो सकता है कि they won't fund us.
Or they won't show it on TV anyway.
If they don't fund you, very slim chances on TV.
Correct.
A lot of startups, see, 60% or 65% pitches make it. And out of the 65%, around 95% are funded. Only the 5% really outlier pitches who have made outrageous products, or they are caricatures who didn't get funded.
Or they're basically for the viewership.
Yeah. They'll make it. Otherwise, you won't be on TV. So what happened was that one of the sharks asked me that how much do you earn from Gabbbar Singh? I said, ज़्यादा नहीं कमाता. Then asked me the number. I told the number, and it was fine. Later, I got a call from the production team. Right? He was like, sir, the entire team was watching your pitch.
And they wanted to tweet about it.
Okay. So the entire team were watching your pitch. The singers as well, the directors, this, that, everybody watching the pitch. And the one place we all were like, what the fuck is happening with our lives, is the moment when you said that how much, he asked you how much do you earn, I said, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं, and then you said the number. Everybody was like, what the fuck is this?
चलो number तो बताओ.
70 lakhs, I said. And that was that time. I was of this opinion that I know what works on TV. I know what works on YouTube and stuff. I was looking at it from the lens of the showrunner.
You were reverse engineering it.
Yeah, basically. As a marketing person. You know what will put...
जो मैं अभी कर रहा हूँ इसके लिए.
Same thing. That you asked me the number, right? Someone else would have ignored it. But you asked the number because it will make good YouTube. So point is that they also did the same. They're like, everything, all these spikes matter for us. I was like, मैं इसी angle सोच रहा हूँ. And I was successful. They put us in the KBC promo as well. The first promo that came on Shark Tank, we were on that promo. And every other, they gave us a Friday slot, which is very coveted because then you have a 2-day uninterrupted mind space. they shot a lot of footage. You would have seen those things that happened after they saw us on TV. That, हाँ, ये pitch है, this is a pitch, this is a star pitch which we'll highlight. And I also knew that because of Gabbbar Singh, it's easier for them because they know that a lot of free media that will come to them through that. Because suppose I put it out, अगर 200 लोगों को तुम ले रहे हो, 200 फंडर्स ले रहे हो, तुम 4-5 इन्फ्लुएंसर ले लो. And makes sense. I mean, as a student, I would think, हाँ, बढ़िया है, क्यों नहीं लेते?
तो यार अभिषेक को तो मिल गया जो मिलना था. You came back and then Gabbbar started making fun of the sharks.
So not fun. It was more of telling the truth.
No, but that's what. So it's like कि आज आप यहाँ पे आए हो अपने 2 घंटे देने और यहाँ से जाते आते वापस ट्वीट करोगे यार मजा नहीं आया यार.
It's a feedback, no? It's honest feedback. A lot of people.
But then you again went and met the sharks and you know them anyway. So ये बातें नहीं होती कि यार क्या लिखते रहते हैं हमारे बारे में भी.
बोलते हैं हाँ लिखता हूँ, एक हूँ मैं. This is who I am. I mean, deal with it. Okay. One good thing is that all founders are great marketers.
Correct.
Right.
Have to be.
Have to be. And they know all these ego things are minuscule. If you are a great founder, right, your ego will be nothing. Sometimes I have to pitch to my juniors. Right? College juniors and all. That fine.
No, even hiring is pitching.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hiring, then you are doing it from a pedestal. But when I pitch it to someone, right? Sorry, गलती हो गया. ये कर देते हैं. अरे यार, connection टूट गया. Sorry. So, a lot of times you would be, but it is unforeseen in corporate scenarios where you have to report to your junior, and people quit their jobs, and it's a kind of an intangible, right? If suppose I tell you कि ठीक है, I'll give you 3 crore का salary, ठीक है, but you have to report to a junior, you will think twice about it. But if you tell me कि I'm giving you a 3 crore का retainer, and the guy will be handling you will be a junior, I said why not? Like no personally. So that is the mindset change because ego is nowhere. Then you are very, very focused on your KPIs, on your metrics.
So that's one of the employees to entrepreneur is no ego.
Yes. That is the change that happens.
And now that you are pitching Hood, how's Hood doing?
Hood is doing, I would say it is growing. We had the best DAUs last week. So in the sense
best for you, the best as compared
ever. So it has been growing at a very steady pace. Every day we are getting a lot of organic people coming in. Right now, if you go on Hood, every second there is a new post that comes. I haven't seen ever you go at 2 a.m. in the night or 5 a.m. in the morning. There are people not active. We launched our paid DMs. So many people paid for it. Imagine getting a...
Right now it's India?
Huh?
It's only India?
It's only India.
Okay.
So what we did was consciously we didn't allow DMs to happen because we know it's an anonymous platform and why would people talk privately on a private platform itself, right? So we didn't allow any DMs. Now people started requesting DMs. मैं DM दो. I said, ठीक है, if ना request आ रहा है, let's make it paid. So we did a cigarette pricing, 18 rupees.
जिसका नोट निकालना चाहिए.
18 rupees का you get a super chat. And that price point was very sweet. So many people put money.
मेरा बड़ा मन कर रहा है अभी जार का plugin डालने का राउंड ऑफ का उसके अंदर.
It's like a हवा में पैसा धुआं है ना. So that's the price point that people are ठीक है. So and a lot of people paid 90 rupees as well, 5 times of that money because they thought it's cheap. And we got a lot of paid subscribers to that. And in India, it's very difficult to get people to pay money for you.
Yeah.
Especially not providing any tangible service to anyone.
ठीक है, एक सवाल जो आपको सारे इन्वेस्टर्स ने भी पूछा होगा, बट दिस इज अ वेरी फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन दैट वी वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या ज़रूरत क्या है दुनिया को एक एनोनिमस प्लेटफॉर्म की. आई नो कि लोग आ रहे हैं तो आप बता रहे हो, इट्स फाइन, आई मीन यू हैव योर ओन रीजंस. सोशल मीडिया इटसेल्फ, आज एक सेलिब्रिटी कुछ करता है तो उसकी बहन या बीवी को भी डेथ थ्रेट्स आते हैं या फिर आते हैं, राइट? व्हाटएवर यू कॉल इट, कैंसल कल्चर, हेट, एनीथिंग, राइट? क्योंकि अकाउंटेबिलिटी निकाल दी है. अभी मैं गाली क्यों नहीं निकाल रहा? क्योंकि मेरे को रिटॉर्ट आ सकता है बिकॉज माई फेस इज अटैच्ड टू इट, राइट? वो ऑलरेडी सोशल मीडिया पे हो चुका है. नाउ वी गोइंग वन स्टेप फर्दर. अगर आप सोशल फैब्रिक whatever is making us behave the way that we do right now, unsaid rules है, उसको हटा दोगे तो हम क्या बना रहे हैं? Is this not creating anarchy?
No, I'll tell you why this hate. If you go one level deep, why hate happens? Why do people tweet nasty stuff about celebrities? You know why? To get noticed.
Okay. यहाँ पे नोटिस है ही नहीं, आप बोल रहे हो.
ये नोटिस है कि यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है ना, दैट वाज द की फियर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैड कि यार यहाँ जाओगे तुमको रोज केस आएंगे, पुलिस केस आएंगे रोज. क्या हो रहा है कि वहाँ पे क्या होता है कि आपका नाम होता है या जो भी होता है, यू आर थ्रोइंग ए स्टोन एट अ ट्रेन. वंदे भारत जा रही है, क्यों मारते हैं उसके पत्थर? मारते हैं ना, इसलिए न्यूज़ बनती है उसकी. 50,000 और ट्रेन जाती है, पत्थर मारते, कोई न्यूज़ नहीं बनती उसकी. वंदे भारत क्यों मारते, क्यों फोड़ते? उनको लगता है कि दिस इज माई फेम, एनोनिमस फेम. मैंने मारा
तो हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है? This is very good in terms of right now theoretically मेरे को अच्छा लग रहा है.
It's very practical. I'll tell you. I'll tell you with numbers. In the last 1 year, we received 1.5 police complaints.
But is that the right measure of?
See, right measure ये होता है कि अगर it's a free market. Right?
I knew this was coming.
It's a free market. If suppose there is a platform which is not adding any value to you, it has become a hate fest or whatever. Clubhouse was example, by the way.
Correct.
People will leave.
Confessions.
Right. People will leave. But what is happening right now on Hood is people have found friends.
Anonymous friends, or they know who the anonymous person is?
Found out who are these. So क्या हो रहा है कि people would come to that platform initially as introverts who had a bad day and bad week or bad month and went out. There are other people also venting out. They bonded together without judgment. Ki, I don't know who you are. And same thing happened with Twitter initially as well. There is no pedestal, nothing is there. No? People come together. We've seen that happen. And ultimately, it's not about sensationalism. It's not about, confessions. It's not about whistleblowing. It's people need people. Societal cohesion. And that's what is happening. That's why people will come every day. They won't come every day to get some spicy news.
People need people, societal cohesion virtually. You're saying virtually.
Virtually. People will come. They'll say, okay, I know Desi girl who's a handle on Hood. And one guy is like some virtual Nirvana or Red Fox or Red Boat. They know each other. They'll share Telegram links to each other. Let's go and chat there. They'll share they'll made groups and all. Now we have given them DMs. They are actually putting money to talk to each other, imagine. So, and they are putting in money not to hate someone. So dating is a subset of this social question.
Correct.
A lot of times, opposite genders sometimes just feel good just talking. Okay, I'm getting a response from opposite gender. That's sometimes enough for me. I don't have to go and physically meet that person. But I'm just chatting with that person. That gives me some amount of pleasure.
Oh, I get it. It's a safe space of someone who's not able to judge you and all of that, right?
And there are no celebrities here.
Okay.
Celebrities attract hate. Celebrities, what will happen is, you say, the Gabbbar Singh. Right? People know, this guy is now at some position, whatever, right? Startup founder or whatever. So now, if suppose I hate him, I'll get noticed. If I put out, so any random person won't get hate, no? If suppose I change my handle, I became Abhishek Asthana, or maybe some Abhishek, and I put out some stuff, nobody will hate me.
Yeah. So, but यहाँ पे anonymous heroes भी तो बनेंगे या नहीं बनेंगे?
तो जब बनेंगे ना, तो होगा. And वो होगा. मतलब मैं बता रहा था कि गब्बर सिंह है, anonymous था. बनते अब hate आने लग गया उसको ना, जब बड़ा बन गया. तो we are prepared for that. That sometimes when we are creating celebs out of this platform itself, and we have given them badges and everything, तो हमने वो सब gamification कर दिया है. That some people are, एक class system आ गया. You need to have a class system. Anyway, by the way, so every society will have a class system. Every social network will have a class system. Blue tick was that class system earlier. Now you could buy it. And so it ceased to become that. But number of followers is a metric which becomes a class system. Everywhere there will be a metric which will judge that this person is in this class, is in this class. Abhi, Hood is classless society. Anybody can talk to anyone. We once we were like actually looking at evangelist of product evangelist. Basically, we'll hire someone who are the active users. We found that such disparate user base. One girl was in BCG. One guy was in an engineering college. One guy is a consultant. So, such people are also active and talking to each other. Maybe there's a guilty pleasure.
So, you're saying there is a need in the market and that's why this is okay.
See, society, social cohesion, people need other people and people need judgment-free places where they can talk to each other, right? How big is that market? Let's see.
From your journey of being an employee to your first business venture, Ginger Monkey, right? पहली बात तो नाम कैसे आया, but how was the transition? How did you start?
Yes. So while I was working, I had no plans to start up, right? I was always of this opinion that your main course can't be your desert, or your desert can't be your main course, basically. Suppose you have a hobby, you are good at something, it might not mean that that thing can sustain you.
A side business is not a business.
Side thing. Okay, you are creative. So what? I mean, can it become a business? I don't know. A lot of people are creative. A lot of people think that they can write good ads, maybe, right? But can it become a business? I remember when I was in Bangalore, back in 2010, I was working in Samsung R&D. I used to come back from work I was staying in BTM layout that time. My office was in CB Raman Nagar. I was a long bus journey, but 1.5 hours types journey tha. And in that time, I used to write ads on my diary.
For whom?
For just no smoking, Kya Dikkat Hai. It was just writing smart copies, right? I liked advertising that time. And this was before MBA, before anything else. I was a coder. I was a lead engineer working on the first Galaxy model, Samsung. So, dur tak koi wo nahi aas-paas bhi uske. But I used to write stuff, and what I did was I sent it to one of my friends who was working in advertising. And I thought कि मैंने भेजा है इसको और वो देखेगा बोला वाह क्या लिखा है यार तू आजा चल. So I didn't know that this guy would be like burdened with so much work already. Some random guy emailing कि हाँ देख लो मेरा काम क्या करूँ मैं तेरा काम देखने भाई. तो he didn't reply for a week. मैं से ठीक क्या हुआ. I was thinking कि मैं इतना effort डाला इसमें तुमको तो respond करना चाहिए इसके ऊपर. तो ये लगा अच्छा हाँ ठीक है आ जाओ एक बार internship करना है क्या मैं internship मेरे को. तो मेरे को बस appreciation चाहिए. मेरे को बस वो चाहिए. तो फिर that was there, the seed was there. You want to do creative stuff, go to MBA and do marketing. And marketing में कुछ होगा. And that was the biggest scam. The point is that marketing roles are just project management roles, especially in FMCG and all that. You are a glorified project manager. You have to make sure the products get launched, and you are a conductor, basically, right? Harmony and all that. So I did that. And I realized कि नहीं हो पा रहा ये तो वैसे ही है चल रहा है. And at one point of time I was really pissed off. This is not what I wanted to do in life. But then I have no other choice as well. No other vocation would pay as much money. So then
this is 2019.
Okay. Entrepreneurship looks like tough work basically. It looks like something you have to build a team, get an office, fixed cost, how will I maintain this, that. But then COVID hit. COVID hit 1 year later, but I started work from home only that time. One founder basically from MobiQuick, by the way. Bipin just DM'd me saying, I'm looking for someone who can handle my social media, right? Do you know someone? And that was the time I thought. And I was just before that, I went to Bombay to meet a friend who was doing this. Right, and I asked him, dude, can I come with you and join you and let's do it together and all that. I said, इसका already team है इसके पास and मेरे को इतना effort नहीं मानना पड़ेगा and I can bring clients and everything and can work. He said, नहीं यार ऐसा नहीं होता. I say proprietorship ये वो. And see, unless you prove your worth, nobody will align with you. You can't join someone from the position of weakness.
Correct.
Right. You've just quit your job, right? Or you're quitting your job, notice period or whatever. And you are asking a friend who is running business that I want to be a partner of you.
At least आपने job तो छोड़ दी थी. Like when I used to run my business, so one of them was cafeteria. Like I had a couple of cafes. तो हर रोज कोई ना कोई आता था. Because बैठे हैं MG रोड पे चाय पी रहे हैं, लोगों को तो लगता है कि यार ये करते हैं. But they've never even left their job also. अगले दिन कोई नहीं आएगा. Is that right? But आप anyway.
नहीं मेरा point था कि मैंने job भी तब छोड़ी ना because Gabbbar Singh was going on side.
Yeah.
So Gabbbar Singh
so the big lead was also because of the
okay. The DM came on Twitter only. Right? Okay. So though Gabbbar Singh was there, otherwise I wouldn't have quit the match. I would have still been working at some place, right? But because Gabbbar Singh was there, I thought there is some cushion, right? And Gabbbar Singh earnings that had become equal to my salary there.
Correct.
But it was not fixed now. Next month again hunt and kill करना पड़ेगा अपने को. तो फिर I was like ठीक है. तो I got a project from Star Sports or some brand basically. And I was I don't know from where did I gather that strength basically. That I was like, if this project comes to me, and that project was 3.5 lakhs, that's it. Right. And
if this project comes to me, I'll put down my whips.
Okay.
And there was not a retainer. It was one project, right? And I had nothing in hand that time. I was like, ये करूँ कि नहीं करूँ? I said, and that was dicey as well. हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है पता नहीं चल रहा था. I said, this would be a sign from the universe maybe. If this happens, that means I'll then quit.
As an individual, you had to do that project. Okay.
So it came. And I remember that after lunchtime, the moment it got confirmed, and I was added as कि हाँ ठीक है आप कर सकते हो उसको. I went and prepared papers. क्या हो गया चलो ठीक है. And then in the notice period itself, I closed that other retainer, the Mumbai quick retainer. I went to their office and said देखो मेरा team है कोई team नहीं थी कि तब मैं took two of my friends and चलो देख के आते हैं. तो उसके बाद basically those friends were my employees that time. They went away on their ways. Started 1 employee, 2 employee, 3 employees karte. And then we got Durex, then we got Bounce, and then a lot of other. We did good work with these people, and other people saw that work, and we got a lot of clients that kept on coming. And since then, we haven't looked back, as you say.
Where is Ninja Monkey now?
Ninja Monkey is, we have worked with almost 100 plus clients. Almost all top FMCGs, we have vendors there. We have worked with almost all top startups in Bangalore, Delhi. And we have a lot of international clients now. We have worked in 4 continents already. And it's at a stage where, and it's always been that I didn't have to go for business, hunt for business.
It's all incoming.
100% inbound so far. And every month I tell my team ki let's go and actively pitch now, but something comes and we don't have to. And we have been doubling every year since then. 19, if I have to talk about revenues, in 19 we did 60 lakhs.
चलो पूछना नहीं पड़ा मेरे को बता.
19 we did 60 lakhs. 20 we did 2.2 CR. In 21 we did, because of pandemic, 3.2 CR. Then 5.5 CR. This year we'll be doing 10.
ठीक है, 2-3 चीजें for I know a lot of people who are running agencies and advertising thing, right? When somebody is very creative, and I've seen this struggle with some of my friends, and they decide to, make a business out of it, it's a constant struggle between being creative and running a business, right? Business trait or creativity trait can they go hand in hand? How did it happen for you? Was there a conflict? And how do you handle it now?
Yeah. Good question, actually. So, it's always the case. A lot of creative people can't run businesses.
Correct.
They'll squander it away. But I was of this mindset that the kind of training I had gotten in my corporate life, that helped me. Because I was running a brand. Brand is like, you're the CEO of that brand. You have the P&L, you know how the gross margins are coming, where you have to cut down, where do you, the costs have to be coming down. And where you invest, where the value is basically. I don't say that I am the best entrepreneur and an agency owner or something. A lot of people would have done much more than I have done, right? But what I've done is basically followed few principles which have served me well. Have kept my decision making very fast, taking calls really fast, and being involved in the business as well, and giving them something which the usual industry people haven't given, and creating a name for itself. Like if suppose you hear about Ginger Monkey, you can think, okay, these guys are creative people. Let's give the brief to them. Let's see what they come up with. So that's the kind of positioning we have trying to make and followed so far. And we've gotten almost Amazon, Nestle, and Paytm, AirAsia, Grow.
What's your role now?
My role is a chief creative officer kind of a role. I do creative stuff.
So you still do creative stuff other than management?
Yeah, I do that. I love doing that. That's why I want to keep doing that. And a lot of times, so it doesn't take me much time. 1 hour a day at max. 1.5 hours a day at max. And that even then I have to ask people, ki meko kaam do. They are productive, nahi, hum karne do. They'll ask this, approval de do, bas theek hai, hum kar lenge. So that's what I've also built, that not just about the creativity part or the business part, but also building a team which is just this month, 3 employees want to come back and join. They had left for different reasons.
Got it.
And they've called me and said, I want to come back. And this is a culture we couldn't see anywhere else. We have kept it 100% remote so far. It's work from home.
Oh, wow.
And consciously, because we thought that it's tough in a creative line of business to work separately. But we have
No, I think I differ there, and I think creative लोगों को साथ में बैठना जरूरी है, but ज़्यादा मत बोलो यार, हमारे सब apply कर देंगे.
But I've kept them in this spirit. I've gotten access to good talent from tier 2 towns as well, who wanted to take care of their parents. COVID also helped. COVID created that culture of work from home, and we never went back. We never called people to office and all that. Office. That has been cost as well. That keeps the cost down for me. The OPEX of business is down.
How big is the team?
Around 25 people now.
Got it.
And we consciously want to keep it that strength only. We didn't want to go bigger than that. A lot of agency owners I've met who have 100, 200 plus.
Yeah.
But they've always told me that this is the best.
और 50 लोग तो बीडी में हैं.
Exactly. So they have told me this is the best thing that you'll do. And all of them are creative. And we have 0 people in BD or sales. Nobody is there. We haven't, in these 4 years, not a single email has gone out as a cold email. Do you have business, sir? Oh, we just saw you got funding. So we can do this for you. We have this client. We have never done that. And nobody knows how to do that as well.
And you don't even market too much of it on your Twitter, right?
No, I don't do that much. It has decoupled from my Twitter now. So now people see the work of Ginger Markey, or someone would have referred to them to a job. We get a lot of referrals. Almost all the business that comes to us is through referrals only.
ये एक और चीज़ है जो a lot of people who are about to start their own agencies, creative agencies, struggle with, कि India clients versus Western clients, right? And Indian clients का retainer का value नहीं है.
True.
The contract can say anything, but it's one phone call away, right? Have you faced that in?
Fortunately, with the leverage I had with Gabbbar Singh, that part was avoided.
But what would you say to anybody who wants to start? Because this is a genuine problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's not a great business to be in, by the way.
Correct.
It's a traditional business. There's no moat. There are entry barriers. One of your employees can come and just say, I'll start an agency. They can very well do that.
And then also no exponential wealth making, right?
Yeah. So exactly. I mean, you can't scale it to like 100 CR.
Yeah.
Very difficult. It's a slow burn business, basically. Good cash flow. It comes nicely. And difficulties in this industry is that sometimes the payments are not on time, right?
Most of the time,
yeah, of course. And a lot of agency owners I have met who sometimes will take a call, should I pay GST or should I pay salaries?
Yeah.
Okay. So fortunately, we in these 4 years, not even a single month we have lost money, or we have delayed the salaries by even 1 day. So cash flow wise, we are very good.
Correct, but one insight. How does somebody who's starting this deal with it? Yeah, you had a brand probably.
Yeah.
Right.
So I might not be the best example for this, right? Yeah. I mean, a lot of people who have started from scratch will be the best people to answer. I had a network already. I had a leverage to the people know. Okay. A lot of people tell me that sometimes what happens is to run a service business, you have to do a lot of signaling. One, Signal is a great office, right? You have a great, looking office, which is very cool. You have lounges and everything. बढ़िया चल रहा है. एक signaling है, the owner maybe in a BMW, a Mercedes, right? To show that, okay, we have arrived already. We have done great work. We have built a business. You can trust us with your money, right? But for me, that signaling was Gabbbar Singh. Okay, I know this guy.
You're saying, but signaling works.
Of course, it has. You need it. It's difficult because ultimately it's a B2B business. One person who's taking that call might not be the most rational person. He'll go with some of the whims. And if you tick off those whims, tuck, take it, let's give it to them. And ultimately, it's all about काम देखते हैं ना फिर देंगे पैसा. काम दिखाओ पैसा लगा उसके बाद. So I've been in meetings where I have to just boast. so that the other person believes you. Yeah, okay. And fortunately, with the wealth of clients that I've already built, it becomes progressively easier to close a new client. Yeah, that's the thing.
So what's the future?
What's the future? Nobody knows, man. For the future is.
Ginger monkey का पूछ रहा हूँ.
हाँ, देखो क्या है future. देखो point is कि we are growing big. We are doing international markets now. We are doing TVCs as well. So and a lot of times what happens is that clients only come to us कि तुम ये कर लोगे. I've had clients come to me saying कि please design our store. And there's not some small brand, Asian Paints. That's the business they are in. So I was like कि ऐसा भी काम आता है. And they only trust कि हाँ ये लोग creative लोग हैं, कुछ कर ही देंगे ये लोग. We have done wall paintings for a client for in their office कि office design करने को.
So you don't say no.
I don't say no. I say कि ठीक है हो जाएगा. TVC.
So that's one of the traits of being into the
And so वही है कि sometimes work comes to you and challenges you. Can you do it? So why not? Let's do it. I've gotten clients in Africa, I've gotten clients in Vietnam, gotten clients in Australia, Europe, North America. So all of it has been always ki, can you do it? So why not? Let's do it. So yeah, and it's fun, it's challenging, and it keeps me busy. And I don't say no. I didn't say no to this, right? I mean, middle of the work week. And then हो जाएगा, मैंने क्या है, phone पे तो बात होती है सारी. And I take calls fast. So if suppose there's a meeting, in the cab itself, I took 2 meetings, by the way, different clients. I told them, ये करते हैं. And spontaneity is what I bank on. If you want to describe myself in one word, I would say spontaneity.
Let's put you on a spot then.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you... Okay, 2-3 चीजें करते हैं spontaneity के नाम पे. If you have to market India to the world, how would you?
Vishwa Guru.
Or India to Bharat?
India, of course, is the biggest upcoming consumer base you can have for your product. If you have to launch a product, the best place would be India right now. A growing middle class, aspirational class who wants to come up in life, buy all those signaling goods to signal that they have arrived. This is a place to be. And please give your advertising to me.
एक live tweet करें क्या?
करते हैं?
Phone का है? Can we get his phone? देखते हैं podcast के end तक क्या होता है. बताओ नहीं, आप कर रहे हो, मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ.
क्या करना है इसमें?
Content. Okay, give us a topic, anything.
What Bangalore about? Should I tweet about Bangalore?
Can you tweet saying that you're at Jar Xchange podcast? And can people ask questions that I'm here and you can answer them?
Okay, I won't name names right now because I don't want to give it out. I'll say कि I'm at a podcast right now.
Okay.
Or what is the question? It's like gonna be an AMA kind of a thing. I'm recording a podcast.
Okay, this is fun. Let's just see what happens. Abhishek seems less busy than most people.
I'm chill, man. बताओ क्या करना है?
The
PO, yes, who's sending PO? I'm always
email नहीं पढ़नी भाई.
नहीं, मैं किसी ने बोला कि PO भेज रहे हैं. अच्छा ठीक है.
Abhishek, this is one section which we always have common with all our guests. Value of money in life. So थोड़ा सा background, where you come from. वैसे भी earnings तो disclose हो ही गई हैं. So we can now estimate how much you earn. And it's also not taken you 15-20 years, right? It's like 2019 you started a business. I think that's where the growth came in.
True.
So how was your background growing up? How were you back then as a person? And once you started to earn money, how has your life changed?
Of course. Right. So cool. I'll start from the background itself. So I come from a lower middle class background, right? My parents, I would say, I grew up in Bihar initially, 13 years. My father was posted there. My mother is from Bihar. My father is from UP. Right? Okay. So while he was posted there, he used to go to his workplace on a cycle. Right. So that was a kind of a background that we had. Though my parents never made me feel that way, that we are underprivileged or something like that. we could go to the good schools, whatever there was there. But we could never, we have always been struggling with money in our household, basically. There wasn't a single month where we would be like, अरे यार ये करते हैं चलो घूम के आते हैं. Never happened. It always was like father was like, can we manage money better? Okay, you manage the money better. It's not enough.
And every decision making primary thought.
Primary thought process is always money. Money was the center of everything, right? Because when you lack it, then you don't think about anything else, right? That becomes your sole focus. And for my parents as well, it was like our kids could be our key to that fortune. Maybe our kids can unlock that level for us, because in our lives it's very difficult. They struggle to make a house, but they never let it reflect on the education. But they never told me कि नहीं यार तो बहुत महंगा है, we can't put. They would borrow money इधर उधर से कुछ करके, and they invested. That was the only investment they made, basically. If you look at it, actually, that okay, education is investment, right? So for me, a big portion of that was to pay it back. Not pay it back literally, but in the sense that now that they have invested this much in my education, or they have this much of hope कि यार कुछ करेगा.
Like sense of responsibility.
तो I was like कि पहले तो मैंने गड्ढे भरो, ठीक है. तो a lot of people tell me कि do you do any charity or तुम कुछ करते हो क्या? I said charity begins at home, right? There are a lot of gaddhas to fill in initial years, and it's not that it's been 10 years of me starting a business or something like that. First is to maybe get them to a level where they can live a comfortable life, right? I got my father a driver, a car and everything. Now he's chilled thoda sa. Okay. So I was like, first get that sorted, right? And get them house. They were building a house. I built up a floor and everything and got loans and everything covered. So now they are debt free. They are chilling. I mean, they are all retired life. My father receives no pension and everything right now. So I made sure that there is an account of which is always there with money, and my mother has a card and she can withdraw anytime she likes to do that. So I made sure of all of that. Then I look at my life, right? I'm a very low maintenance person as such, and low maintenance as not a choice by design.
That's
right. So because there was I didn't grow in prosperity, right? So my choices were not like I have to signal stuff to someone, right? There was nothing to signal as such. When I grew in and started earning some bit of money, it still didn't kick in. And I was never into vanity, right? And that continued. Even when I started earning more money, I was never like, I have to go and get this brand. Right? And a lot of that also came via Gabbbar Singh as well. A lot of that signaling I didn't have to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because people just like, acha, haan, we went to a party, oh, Gabbbar Singh, okay, haan, ye wo. So, you don't have to pretend or show कि हाँ मेरे पास ये है to reach that pedestal. So, or that pedestal came automatically. So, I didn't have to spend much on that. So, in terms of money has always been for me something that was a problem solver, right? Money was a unlock of mental peace, which was not there for a lot of time. Now, I want to get to a stage where I don't have to think about money.
Are you there? Expenditure maybe not.
Difficult question actually. The thing is, it has become a habit. That's the bad thing about when you don't have privilege. आप जिंदगी में गड्ढे बढ़ते जाते हो, ठीक है?
And it takes time to be comfortable with the fact that you have money, right?
Exactly. Like because it's still less time. I mean, what I did when I got money was to buy a house, right, and pay off every loan and everything, and get all those things sorted, all the boxes ticked, basically. But still, I mean, for me, I still go out there and hunt. It is not. A lot of people tell you, okay, yeah, retire early. FIRE movement chal raha hai. Financially independent retirement. And I look at the corpuses people have made and they're retiring on that corpus. I can never sit on that corpus. Right? I can make that money in a year, but I'll never sit on that corpus and say कि अब मैं retire हो गया.
But retirement का मतलब भी अलग है ना. Retirement के बाद ये थोड़े वेले बैठ जाएंगे. You still keep doing that thing.
Exactly. I mean, if I look at it, I'm retired now. I could very well in the middle of the week come here and do a podcast with you, without even thinking कि यार क्या नहीं है, काम चल रहा है, ठीक है. मतलब तो
So that's I like to call it the currency of time,
yeah,
right? अगर आपके पास वो है, that's one of the things
Exactly.
of being retired early, right?
absolutely. You should have time. You should have that flexibility to do stuff you like to do, right? I like doing this podcast with you. I'm not earning any money out of this and everything, but I like doing this. That's why I'm doing it with you, right? So that is what it is basically. That we can do stuff even when it doesn't earn you money. That's a big thing, by the way, because when you're working 9 to 5, right, you're renting your time, right? And if you don't do that on a weekday, you will lose money. And suppose one day you don't work and you don't even take a leave, and there's a salary cut ke aayegi this month, it will pinch you.
Yeah.
But the day it stops pinching you, na, you're retired.
ये बातें करो तो ऐसा लगता है कि फाइनेंशियल फ्रीडम या फाइनेंस की बातें बहुत इजी है समझनी, मतलब इन द सेंस इट्स, बट प्रॉब्ली पैसा आने के बाद ज़्यादा सिंपल लगता है.
पैसा कमाना दैट टफ पार्ट है.
But how has your habits changed? Has that changed you as a person? Is there a sense of even arrogance or say more of signaling or less of signaling after you've made money?
I think there is an imposter syndrome always. कि यार तुमने किया ही क्या है? Look at Zerodha founders. 2,000 crores profit they are making every and they are like maybe 3-4 years elder than me, 2 years elder than me maybe, those guys. And if those guys are look, there's no right for you to be smug कि अरे अब तो ये कर लिया यार, बहुत लोग हैं, बहुत कमाया पैसा तुमने क्या. With the money you have, you can do what you wish to do. I can fly to any destination and enjoy time there and all that. But I won't say कि यार हाँ मैं तो राजा बन गया, वैसा है नहीं. कुछ नहीं है यार, बहुत लोग हैं, बहुत सारी एजेंसियों में से बहुत सारे फाउंडर्स हैं जिन्होंने ABC रेज किया है, लिक्विडेट किया है, वैसा कमाया है बहुत. तो वो लोग बैठे हुए, तुम कौन हो फिर? मतलब we are sitting at the airlines hotel right now. Suddenly this guy came in, bioengineering lab वाला बंदा, he has made a lot of money and all that. And suddenly you see him and then वो यहीं बैठा हुआ है, तो तुम क्यों हीरो बन रहे हो? तो that keeps me grounded always. So that's a good state to be in, and not to be and also not to be disheartened कि अरे यार किया नहीं लाइफ में यार, क्या रह गया. But it keeps you okay, fine, that you can survive.
Got it. Do you think your life has been happenstance, circumstance, in the sense that
Absolutely.
whatever, if we draw a timeline, तो कुछ हुआ and then you did it, and then कुछ हुआ you did it, and I'm like,
See, the thing is, life is all about planned failures and unplanned success, right? I prepared for IIT. I spent a lot of time, 2 years, 1+ year, another year, and I got through screening, got a rank in IIT JEE, but could never make good enough rank to get into an IIT. But Gabbbar Singh happened overnight. I did a tweet, made a handle, and suddenly, whatever, one thing led to another. So that was not planned. There was some kind of fortune that happened, right? And so I don't know what surprises are in store in life. And that's the great thing about one of the reasons I love living this life is the amount of surprises I get every week, which is crazy. One day, Ke Menon DM'd me saying ki Abhishek, I love you and the stuff you write. I said, Ke Menon from somewhere. Pata nahi kaise. I didn't even know he used to follow me. He followed me and wrote this thing to me. I said, wow. And one fine day I got a call from Ahmedabad. They wanted to invite me for a lecture. I said, wow, kya baat. So ये surprises जो आते हैं ना, this is the fun thing about this. And surprises come from all the different sectors. कभी कुछ, कभी कुछ, कभी कुछ, कभी कुछ. तो इसमें मजा आता है.
Would you recommend people to build their own networks?
Yeah.
सब लोग तो नहीं कर सकते, but
I do recommend. See, personal brand is a great insurance. Right. If suppose you have a personal brand and you are known for your expertise, right? Then you get immune to corporate imbalances.
But isn't it a double-edged sword? If you do something wrong, you're called out. The people have a face to punch on.
Yeah, that is there. Matlab, see, there are pros and cons, of course, right? It's like Gabbbar Singh, right? I have, of course, people will pounce on me and hate me and everything. In that questions also, there are a lot of questions will be bullshit. Right? So the point is that that is there. That is the flip side of it. But you look at the positives. See, sometimes one guy tweeted that the only people who comment on Twitter on your post are the people who didn't get the point. Otherwise, people would have liked it and went on, right? I mean, how many times have you commented on someone? You just, acha hai, you scroll past it. But if you comment on it, like you're disagreeing with it, and you're having some other viewpoint, right? So,
or you want to have some of the
impressions. That is another thing that has happened.
Yeah.
Right. That you post something and for me, I lost the train of thought. What I was discussing. What was that point that you were making? I lost the train of thought.
Acha, you lost. I thought you said you loved the train of thought.
A lot of people from the industry itself who are still working have made a personal brand. I know a lot of startup folks who are not founders, but still are very well known, and they have made a personal brand, right? And their opinions are respected and everything. So कल को आपको अपना खुद को कुछ खोलना है, तो it becomes easier.
Just be authentic. मेरे को लगा ये तो बोलोगे आप. So we did a live tweet.
Yes.
And we have a lot of responses. Let's just take a few of them very quickly, Abhishek. Or Gabbbar. Now it's Gabbbar. Okay, Gabbbar mode. Opinion on woke culture in mainstream movies or OTT platforms. Regulation rules. This is one of your core. Let's go.
Yes. I talk a lot about wokeism and wokes.
Yeah.
First, let's define what is
Tell me.
woke, right? Woke is a person who is basically signaling that he or she is morally superior to you. Right?
Loudly.
Very loudly. That maybe you would have done well in your life. Maybe you would have had better academic credentials. Maybe you are more experienced than me. Maybe you are of my father's age. But I still am morally superior to you because you basically mentioned he or she to them. Right? Or maybe you did something which is very minuscule, but it didn't follow my set of rules, and you are Hitler now, right? So it's simply that if you don't agree with what I say, you are the worst person in the world. So see, I don't have problems on disagreement. Right? You can disagree with people, right? But to the fact that you are a person who supports free speech, and at the same time, you're trying to cancel people who you don't agree with, right? And they portray disagreement as a kind of a
sin,
murder or a sin that you've done. Right? I saw someone on Twitter. Basically, this girl had told another girl a blobfish or something. This guy tagged the employers of this girl, saying that this person is not fitting your diversity and inclusion criteria. Please fire her. Just because on a thread, you said something to someone. And this person still feels that he is morally superior to the other person. And the other person deserves the worst punishment in the world just because of the choice of one word and not an action by them. It's just a word. कोई चोरी की होती, किसी कुछ किया होता, तो समझ में आता है मेरे को punishment. But just for using a term, you are straight away going for execution. And then still you feel that you are the proponent of free speech. How is that?
But the counter would be, isn't verbal abuse equivalent to abuse?
But verbal abuse to abuse, that's fine. The point is there a proportionate punishment for that? It's always disproportionate for wokes. If you tell me I'm a blobfish, I'll tell you don't use this word. This is not derogatory word and everything. But to target my employers because you told me this, that is a difference between a disagreement and wokeness. Wokeness goes for the kill.
And also in response to me calling you that, you will actually verbally abuse me a little more, right? So which is fine by them because it's a reaction.
It's a reaction. I'll say, okay, you are also a blobfish. You are a whale, right? Whatever. I mean, you can say, how can you tell me this and everything? This is wrong and all that. But the point is, try to cause material harm to you just because you disagreed with me is crazy. That craziness is wokeness.
अभी आएंगे comment. अभी disagreement होगा.
A lot of people have tried to do with me as well. Trying to, just because they disagreed with me, they'll say it's a dog whistle or this, that, and they'll tag my investors, clients, employers along back. This causes disagreement. So that happens. But now people have realized that this wokeness is something that needs to be treated well. I mean, this extreme left liberalism, basically, that trying to cancel people, jeopardize their jobs just because they have a different viewpoint than yours. That I feel is a bit extreme and needs to be called out.
Got it. What do you think of the Indian political landscape in 2024?
Political landscape, see, elections, of course, are surprising both ways. Sometimes it'll surprise you either way. And I think with 10 years of this government, there's a lot of anti-incumbency that has built. But has it built enough to topple this government? I don't know. Maybe a lot of things that have gone right, a lot of things have gone wrong. But the thing with India is, right, the lowest strata, the bottom 25% or the bottom 50%, whatever, their lives doesn't change much. Because what happens is, their lives are still dependent on the local variables they have. And I've seen this happen. I mean, enough time has been given to either parties or either blocks, right? But that problem hasn't been solved yet, right? If there is a monsoon, there will be waterlogging, irrespective of the government. So at the local level, the life doesn't change much for someone. And that's where a lot of anti-incumbency happens. Like, and people have short-term memory. They think, the problems are still there. Let's change the government and see what happens. They change the government, same thing remains. Then let's change the government. So if you see, the states which haven't done well, they flip governments every 5 years. So that's not a great sign. And it doesn't inspire enough confidence in people who want to invest in your country, that there's no policy continuity. Kal ko kuch aage kuch change kar dega. Whatever MOUs I have signed with this government, next government will come in and scrap everything. So how? There will be no confidence. I won't invest in such a country. That's where you need continuity of power. And that's where I think if the power continues, then there'll be in terms of financial landscape, it'll be beneficial. Societal, other landscapes, I don't know much. Right?
I will not go deeper into this because it'll be another 2 hours. But couple of quick ones. When will X be your X?
I've thought about it a lot. But now it's not an X, but it's now a double income family. Now X has also started earning. So
how often do you have to lie?
How often do I have to lie? It has started reducing. So I think once
Post-marriage?
Post-marriage, we are quite, as a couple, we are quite frank and honest to each other. So I don't have to lie there. But yeah, it has reduced, I guess.
Are the employees of Zorro on profit sharing basis or fixed salary basis?
This question itself is answered, I guess. So, of course, startups don't make profits initially, right? So, you have to give them salary. Nobody can be one way of saying this is profit sharing is basically if the startups shares appreciate, then you are part of that. The ESOPs we give out, of course. So, a lot of employees have ESOPs and, of course, salary. This is a question, I think.
Okay, मैं नहीं पूछ सकता, बहुत सारे ऐसे सवाल हैं, but I think it's been great talking to you. I think 1-2 घंटे और हो जाता अगर कैमरा फुटेज होती. But thanks a lot, Gabbbar.
Thank you.
This is a jar where just write a message for us. How did you feel about this conversation? And we'll put it there. We'll reveal it once we cross 100.